Hello everybody, my name is Petya. I'm one of the teachers at Simul, and today I'd like to have a chat with you about the so-called words of the year. Okay, so to begin with, I'd like to ask you a question. What do you think is the most spoken word in the world? Yes, in the whole world, across all languages. Hint, I already used that word just now. Any ideas? Yes, it's the word okay. Okay is an interesting word. It's kind of mysterious. We don't know exactly how people started using it or why. It's only been in use for about 180 years. And yeah, despite many theories, we don't know how it actually came about. However, the nice thing about it is that it is really versatile and it can be used in so many different situations. And it can have different meanings depending on the nuance. For example, it can be used as a verb, as a noun, as an adjective, and depending on context, it can mean approval, acknowledgement, agreement or assent, and it can even mean indifference. And there is nothing unusual about us coming up with new words. We're always making up words in all languages, and all the words we've been using, all the words that ever came about were made up at some point. So we are making up words, or we are changing the meaning and the nuances of existing words all the time. For example, the word silly used to mean happy, and now it means foolish. What about that? So the idea of having a more formally selected words of the year was first introduced in 1990 at a meeting of the American Dialect Society by a professor of English named Alan Metcalf. He thought, okay, so if Time magazine can choose a person of the year, someone who has been influential during the year, why should we not also choose a word or words of the year? Since then, various organizations try to sum up the previous 12 months and capture the current moment. So let's look at the offerings for 2022. And the winners are, congratulations to gaslighting. Last year, 2022, as the world began emerging from the pandemic and searching for the new normal, there were deep fakes and the dark web, deep states, fake news, and a lot of trolling. And so the word gaslighting became Merriam-Webster's word of 2022. Merriam-Webster defines this word as a psychological manipulation of a person, usually over an extended period of time, that causes the victim to question the validity of their own thoughts, perceptions of reality or memories, and typically leads to confusion, loss of confidence, and self-esteem. The term came to life more than 80 years ago with the play written by Patrick Hamilton titled Gaslight, which was later made into movies and became better and better known. Another word for last year was goblin mode. It's a slang term often used in expressions like in goblin mode or to go goblin mode. It is, according to the Oxford Dictionary, whose year of 2022 it became, a behavior that is unapologetically self-indulgent, lazy, slovenly, or greedy in a way that rejects social norms or expectations. This word perfectly encapsulates the mood of that year when people around the world found themselves uncertain about the future after the lockdowns of the COVID pandemic, rejecting the idea of returning to normal life, and rebelling against the rat race lifestyles of pre-pandemic years, finding it more and more difficult to maintain the unsustainable lifestyles exhibited in the media, the general media, and on social media. The Collins Dictionary Word of the Year for 2022 was permacrisis, coming from the words permanent and crisis. This word also refers to the extended period of instability and insecurity of the previous years, as well as what now seems to have become the permanent state of unresolved crisis on multiple fronts, as we as a species seem to be lurching from one disaster to the next. Do any of you have any idea, any good, clever ideas on how we can perma-solve our perma-crisis? And the last word I want to talk about is a really funky one. It's the Collins Dictionary Word of 2022, splooting, a more playful and less serious word that refers to how animals lie flat on their stomachs with their legs stretched out to cool down in the heat. Many pet owners use the word during the intense heat waves of recent summers, when looking for hacks on how to keep their pets and themselves cool during the really hot weather. As we can see from the words of 2022 I mentioned, it seems that people are re-evaluating and beginning to dispose of some of the old social norms and searching for ways to replace them with new, flexible, more sustainable and creative ones. And so, as we approach this year's end, what would you say the mood of this year was? Can you have a guess at any words that would perfectly describe our year this year, the year of 2023? Please think about it, take a minute, write a few down. And after the official words of 2023 are released soon, sometime in December, we will give you another presentation on these words. So please come and revisit the Simul Teachers YouTube channel and take a look at all the different videos that we have been preparing for you. They're all educational, giving you further knowledge of the English language and helping you develop and upgrade your English skills. As a final thing that you can do today, we've prepared a gap fill exercise, which you can do on the next page. Please, first of all, try to complete the gaps with words from my presentation, words that you remember. And after you do that by yourself, you can pause the video, do the activity, and then listen to me reading out the answer and you can check your answers. Okay, thank you very much. Please do the activity and have a wonderful end of year. And we're looking forward to seeing you somewhere here at the YouTube channel or in Simul. Thank you very much. So, how was last year for you? Had you already overcome the general feeling of permacrisis a lot of the world was still experiencing? And have you come up with any ways to perma-solve some of the problems facing humanity? Or did you spend a large part of 2022 still in goblin mode, feeling reluctant to re-enter the rat race? Did you at any point feel discouraged reading all the fake news Or were you fooled by any deepfakes on the internet and in social media? Even worse, did you ever feel that you have been gaslighted in some way or by someone? And how did you survive the unbearably hot summers? Were you tempted to try and imitate our furry friends and try a little bit of splooting?